Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday, and this is the Office Hours Show with SEOWiSE, Wednesday edition. Today, we've got quite an interesting show for you. We're going to start it off with a tech gadget giveaway. And then Alex will wade in the water with Lee Smallwood and Node X. Alternate title on that was Alex and Lee Get Wet with Node X. We're going to stick with the PG version. We're going to look at Betty White, Virgin Airlines, and a reshare by Real SEO. They're all going to get jelly rolled today. I'm actually going to give you something useful. We're going to talk about content creation and a trash can I found at Lowe's and how that turns into a content idea and creativity. And we're going to do all this and more on the Wednesday edition. Right now, we're going to dive into shout-outs because we like them. This is good people and good news. And first thing, how you doing there, Alex?
I'm good. I'm happy.
I'm trying to run through the new. Hi everybody, how you guys doing today? I don't know who we have out there. I know we're missing Todd today, and I want to make a statement right now. And we know that Todd is going through some troubles with his family. I believe his mom, and we wish his mom the best. And I hope that Todd is able to get all those things taken care of. And we look forward to having him back with us as soon as those things are resolved. Todd, if you're out there and you do watch this, doesn't matter what's going on with all the other stuff, man. All that matters is taking care of your family. So do it. So this that you're seeing on the screen here has nothing to do with Todd. I just wanted to get that personal message out. This is the first thing we're shouting out about, and this is Friday. This coming Friday, the Office Hours Show is actually going to be live at OTBC. That's the Oregon Technology Business Center. And we're doing a little presentation there. Personal branding and Google Plus for business. Most of you that watch this show from Google Plus, you've all heard this stuff. You can get this stuff from any of the thought leaders in Google Plus. This is really meant for people who are not familiar with Google Plus, familiar with authorship or any of the Google platform, or haven't seen what's going on with it in recent years. So this will be live at OTBC. We'll have a live audience there. We're welcoming a virtual audience. If you're interested in being part of the virtual audience, there won't be a lot of question answer back and forth, but you can be a part of it. Alex will be a part of it. We'll be doing that. It's kind of a show presentation where we're trying to change the way presentations are given. I want to do something different. Alex, we were talking about this earlier. What did you think of the idea of the duo thing?
I think it's interesting. I think it'll make it a little bit more interactive. And if anything, presentations have always been very, here I go, communication again. Presentations tend to be a lot like lectures, and it's more talking at people rather than with people. And I think presentations need to move into that interactive realm, because a lot of learning literature shows that when you interact with the person giving the presentation, when you interact with the actual information that is being given to you, you'll learn more and you'll retain more of the information. So if anything, our interactions hopefully encourage the people from the live audience to interact more with you.
I agree. That's exactly what we're going for. Taking the concept of a boring PowerPoint, making it interactive, bringing in the audience. That's why we use Hangouts. That's why we're doing what we do. So if you're interested in joining us, if you're in Portland and you'd like to come to the OTBC building in Beaverton, just hit us up in the SEOWiSE community, which means join the community, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can get you this information. The best way to get all of the information that we provide with SEOWiSE is to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are going to be pushing more and more video there. Smaller ones dealing with individual subjects, a lot of instructional stuff, interviews. We've got all sorts of things lined up. Subscribe to the channel to get that information. You'll see us relay that in Google+, but you'll get the notifications on time and when things start directly from the YouTube channel. So we urge you to subscribe there. This Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific at the Oregon Technology Business Center. If you're interested, hit us up in the community. You can watch it online live on the SEOWiSE channel. And I think we've pushed the event out a few places in Google+, and you can see it all over. We'll be talking about personal branding, what's coming up in 2014, Google+ for business, basically all the stuff you guys are already familiar with from being a part of our Plus family here. Alex, do you want to add anything to that at all?
No, just join us. Even if you feel like you don't have anything to give to the conversation, you do. There's no such thing as a stupid question because it can always be funny. So, what? It's true. Like, even if it's stupid, it's still funny. I like to laugh.
If nothing else, your dumb question will let us laugh at you. With you. That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah,
great
with you. Never at you. Well.
All right. And being laughed at is not a bad thing. I've been made a complete fool of in this last week, and I'm not even going to tell you about it today. We'll talk about it next week. Next, glass in the class, Alex. I've got the slide up there. Tell us all about it.
Okay, so tomorrow we will be having Larry Fournillier for Glass in the Class, and I'm super excited because a lot of it's really early in the morning for a lot of my students, and the cogs they're not really working yet. But Larry makes everything fun always, and he's super personable. I even wrote a post about it a while ago about how Larry is like, you just want to be with him and listen to him. So he's going to be talking about interpersonal communication, especially with the online communication that we are so involved in today. I really want Larry to talk about why interpersonal communication is still important. And if it's important to a chef, I think that he can make it applicable to any profession ever. So hopefully that shows my students that whether they want to be a chef, a businessman, a freaking ballerina, I don't care. You need to have interpersonal communication skills. So I think it's going to be really fun to have Larry in the classroom. And I'm sure we are all going to be jealous of him in Ohio. I'm sure a weather question is going to come up. I guarantee it.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, so Larry does live in the Caribbean, Trinidad, Tobago. Although I believe isn't he still planning on not being there soon, or do you know what the deal is with that? Maybe we'll ask tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure, though his plans would still involve nicer weather than Ohio, so.
Yeah, that is true. We'll leave it at that. Yeah, looking forward to that tomorrow. By the way, you said that it was early for your students, and no, it's not. It's not. Let's be honest. It's early for those of us here.
10 a.m. is early for them. They're like, why don't I have this class at noon? I'm like, I don't know. Why don't I work from like noon to 4 every day and I'm done? Well, I don't know.
You just gave me another idea for a segment. Just like let the teacher bitch or something, so that you can complain about all the stuff you got going down. We can get other teachers in.
That would be fantastic, except that I would have to remove any affiliation with Kent State whatsoever, because I'm sure that they would not want. They don't want to be associated with that.
No, but you really do seem to need to just vent. I want to give you the opportunity to.
That's what my office hours are for, with all of the other GTAs. We all just sit there and we're like, can you believe what my student did today? And then we just like bitch about it. You're like, oh, you think bad's bad. Listen to what my student did. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I admire you for even attempting. When I started college, I was going to be a teacher. I was going to be a math teacher. Then I was going to be a physics teacher. Then I found out you needed to have a master's to do either and have fun. Right? Then I found out that even if I graduated with my master's, that I would have to go through 3 months of unpaid internship to be a teacher at a school. I was like, how the fuck does anybody survive wanting to be a teacher and being told that that's what's going to happen when you graduate with your master's? Right? Something that should be valued much higher than that. Teachers are screwed in this country. And I'm sorry, Alex. You are undervalued by the people that hold the money, not by the people that send their kids there. And that's the truth. As far as I'm concerned, our education system and our defense system should have equal funding. I mean,
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be That would be great.
But we're not going to go down that road because I got to do sponsors. Sponsors. Well, not like that. Jeez, what's the hell happened there? All right, sponsors, everybody. This show is brought to you in part by Wirecast. It's an awesome product made by a company called Telestream. They support us and we support them. If you're interested in learning more about Wirecast, how to use it, what to do with it, why we use it, want to take your Hangouts to another level, want to start doing content marketing, get in touch. We use this software and we know what to do with it. Thank you, Wirecast. And by Hang 3 Productions, a little company that doesn't even have a website yet, but you've got Alex and me as part of it, and we will be producing more shows this summer. Look for Hang 3 Productions to display stuff soon, besides our shows. And by Google. Yeah, I know that really wasn't a good one, was it, Alex?
No.
And by Google, because without Google, we wouldn't have any of this stuff. Their array of services is pretty amazing. If you're not familiar with them, join the SEOWiSE community. We talk about it all the time. Or the Plus Your Business community. They talk about it all the time. Google, we like them. Back to shout-outs. Here, I'm going to run my shout-out transition again. See how it goes. I don't know if that's going to look decent on your end, guys, because on mine it's really choppy. All right, we got through Larry. We got through the glass. Okay. Back to the Leap Motion contest. So, Alex, we are staring at my little cover for Leap Motion. What this is, anybody watching, anybody interested, I have a Leap Motion. Where did I put it? You can't, it's behind me. You can see it back there. I didn't grab the box today. If you're not familiar with what a Leap Motion is, it's a really cool hands-free device. You plug it into your computer, and it creates an array, a 3D array in front of your screen. You don't see this as just an array. You move your hands within it, and you can control your computer. Iron Man kind of stuff, all right? No, it's not 3D imaging like that, but control your computer. Do all sorts of neat stuff with it. Play games with it. I don't have the time. Bought this thing, don't have the time. I'd like a student or an educator. Alex, any luck with your guys at Kent? Anybody? Did you mention this?
I haven't been able to mention it. A, because last week was spring break, and B, because we're doing speeches, so.
Right. So, anybody that watches this show and hears this segment, I've got a Leap Motion that I will loan to you. Just send it to you. You do stuff with it, and then bring it back. Let us know when you're ready, and we'll put you on the show, and we'll talk about it. I just want to see somebody do something interesting with it. It's collecting dust. It's a really cool piece of gear. So hit us up. We'll ship it to you. There's no liability or contract you got to sign. I'm just going to send it to you, and when you're ready, we'll see what you've done with it on the show. That's it. And then we'll treat it like a library piece. We'll send it to other students, other schools. This is part of what I think we're going to start doing with SEOWiSE is invest in some of these things that we can send to other schools. Right? I'm hoping, Alex, that glass eventually comes down in price. We know it will, but when it does, that would be really cool to get some donated to schools as well. But yeah, well, you know what I mean. Anyway, we're giving away a free tech gadget. Please, let us know if you want it. Next, Alex, is last Friday. Let's do a shout out there for Gina. Last Friday, Thursday.
Yeah, last Friday's show, which aired on Thursday, because we like to be tricky. No, because it works better with Gina's, and it's Gina Fiedel,
Yes.
Gina's schedule. But we just want to do a shout out to her for coming on our show. She was even more awesome than I thought she was going to be. I didn't think it was possible, but it is. Gina is super smart when it comes to web development, and she is probably one of the most authentic people that I have engaged with in Plus. So I'm super excited to have furthered our relationship. She private messaged me afterwards asking about some things, and I told her, I was like, you are so good at Hangouts, and now that you are so comfortable with them, maybe soon we can do a show together. I have no idea what it would be, but I was like, I would love to do a show with you, Gina. So we're working her towards that.
I would be happy to run that show. I mean, I think that would be fantastic. And that right there, okay, first of all, great shout out. Yeah, Gina was amazing, awesome. I love talking to web developers like that. Web developers that get it. There are lots on Plus, but it's. Let me put it this way: Gina is now going to get referral work from me. Now that I know who she is, now that I understand how she develops, my company doesn't do development anymore. I consult on development and hand it off to other agencies to do the work. Gina is now going to get leads because I know her. So, I mean, this is the reason I'm saying that, Alex, is it's kind of a no-brainer for any business. You want people to get to know who you are? Get your face in front of a camera. Get on a show. The fact that you and Gina were already talking afterwards about doing a show together. That's how simple this is. And yes, I said simple. But that's how fast the creative process can happen. We've got everything ready. Gina wants to do a show with Alex. They plan it out, build out the segments, put it together. Boom, we're recording and going. Right? The studio production happens here, where I sit. Doesn't matter where Alex is. Doesn't matter where Gina is. So, do it. Do it for yourselves. Let's do this show, Alex. I think this is fantastic. Very cool.
Well, we'll. I was like, maybe I'll put you in front of a camera a few more times before we get comfortable enough where you're actually, co-hosting a show. And I have no idea what we would. I don't know. Communication, authenticity, and web development. I don't know. But
yeah, sure. 2 authentic chicks. Whatever. Yes, that's the guy's name for the show. Right. All right. Next slide up here is I call them slides. For everybody that actually works in the broadcast industry, I realize I don't use the words you use, but that's because this is the web. I don't have to. All right. We're looking at, and Alex has a different opinion on this. I find this interesting. This is Lorde. If you're not familiar with who she is as an artist, she's a 16, 17-year-old girl from New Zealand who doesn't look at all like she's 16 or 17, doesn't talk like she's 16, doesn't act like she's 16. As Alex very astutely said, she is very much like a young Lady Gaga, maybe a young Madonna. And this statement from her, Lucius Knight shared this in Google+. I thought this was awesome. And she says, I find this curious. 2 photos from today. One edited so my skin is perfect and the other real. Remember, flaws are okay. I absolutely love that statement. I mean, yes, flaws are okay. We don't need the Photoshop. I don't need it. Right? I just want the real human being. Human beings are beautiful, as is. You don't need Photoshop to make them that way. And honestly, look at these pictures. I mean, this is, you gotta understand the strength here of somebody like this, somebody who risks their reputation by doing something like this. She is standing up for authenticity. That said, I'm going to let Alex counterpoint. Go ahead, Alex. What did you think of this?
Well, no, I mean, I fully appreciated it, and I appreciate what it says to young girls out there, and I appreciate that it shows. I think that there's still a necessity for Photoshop. Photoshop serves a very it serves a very useful purpose in magazine production, any sort of produced, because to me, photos in magazines aren't meant to represent reality. Photos in magazines to me are art. But what this post does is that it shows you that this is art and this is reality, and I appreciate that. I fully appreciate that. But my response to this was that it is another piece of the persona that she has created. She has created a persona that says, I am authentic, that I mean, if you look at the one song that she had, Royals, that went it went viral, everybody loved it, it was awesome. It presents this persona of, I don't fit in. So that's what this is just to me, it's another part of that persona that she's created, like Lady Gaga has her persona. I appreciate it. I do. I appreciate that's part of her persona. Cool. It's a good persona. It's a great persona. It's a great message to send to young girls that deal with this kind of stuff. But at the same time, my thought was, okay, I see the motive behind this.
Right. And you just said something awesome. You said it's the persona of I don't fit in. Right? What I said earlier was she's 16. That's not a persona. Every teenager doesn't feel like they fit in. She just wrote a song coming from her age, right? Now, if it is part of the PR, you're absolutely right. Brilliant, fantastic, good job, caliber of Lady Gaga. And the real point is it doesn't really matter whether it's a persona or the person, because the message is so damn good, right? The message does good. The message grows her fan base. Even if it's controversial for the PR department, right, the message still works. And so I like that. And I think what you and I are tackling here is, with the difference between the PR and not PR, is, persona, non-persona. I'm very much against personas, right? I think you should just be there. But the fact that you said you see that was an interesting statement, that Photoshop and art. I've never looked at it that way. I've looked at it as commerciialism.
Which most people, most people are, they see it as deception. They see Photoshop as deception, and a lot of, like Dove campaigns, they present it as deception. And the issue is that a lot of girls look at these magazines and they aren't told, this is what you're being presented with. This is the reality. They see it. They're just given the magazine and they accept it as a reality that they need to compare themselves to. I don't see it like that. I see it as, they took this picture and they created a work of art out of it. Do I see it as reality? No, I would hate myself for my entire life if I did. So I think that it serves a purpose in that, if magazines just presented everyone as they are all the time, I don't think that we would have a readership. I don't think that we would be interested, because we like these idealized images. I think what's important is that we recognize that those are idealized and that those are a work of art through the use of Photoshop. That's what I think is important. And just for the record, if she really wanted to have this authenticity of this was a photo taken at this time, this was another photo, she should take all that makeup off.
Well, but that's part of her artistry. She's an artist. She's on stage. She's a musician. Why should she take that off too? So now we cross lines.
I would see it as okay, so she's showing this as an authentic person rather than a persona. Well, I think maybe that's where I got the persona. I was like, okay, this is just another part of her persona of I'm authentic.
It could be, except that what I like is the fact that she's showing the same concert, right? She really did justice here by saying, here's a picture of me with just straight raw from somebody in the crowd. At the same show, here's a picture that's been doctored. See, to me, that's not art. That's prettying up reality. There's no need to pretty up that reality. Seeing her on stage in the picture on the bottom works fine for me. I don't need the one up top that shows me a face without blemish, right? And that's the only reason that picture was done. She's got some acne, some skin issues. Okay, she's a freaking teenager. They all do, right? So somebody, photoshopped it. And I guess to me that's what's wrong. That's not art. That's basically saying, hey, teenagers, those zits on your face? That's wrong. Photoshop those out, right? To me, that's what she's combating that. And so I don't know. We can move on. This was just supposed to be a shout out. I didn't know we were going to talk about it.
Let's move on.
Let's move on to Lee. So here's the next shot. We have, actually, this is just the shout out. We'll start with the shout out. Talking about Lee Smallwood. Lee is awesome. Alex talked a lot more with Lee than I have lately, just because I've been kind of buried doing other things. Lee has created has NodeX. If you're familiar with NodeX, very, very cool social analysis. It's basically social media analytics and analysis, but it's much more. It's very different than what you would normally consider, because this is really looking at individuals, looking at your relationships with individuals, and it gets very, very deep. I'm going to stop there. Alex, take it and let me know when you want me to show the wade in the water slide to go into that.
Okay. Well, we're doing a shout out to Lee, because anyone that has tried to figure out NodeX, knows that it is very complicated. We messed with it a little bit, and I was just like, I hate analytics. I hate math. So when I first looked at Nodex, I was like, oh my God, I can't handle this. Nope, not doing it. Not doing it. So we're really doing a shout out to Lee because he is taking the time to write out these blog posts, which are basically very simplistic directions for people like me that I call myself a mathphobic, and I think it should be a real disease because I really do like, I see the word analytics, I see numbers, I see anything that has to do with math, and I'm like, I'm out of here. Like, I'm done. And I love Lee. I really do. I don't know if it's like his endearing accent or just his weird sense of humor, but he's a fantastic person. So I took the time to read these blog posts, and once you start reading them, it's like it just clicks in your head how these type of analytics work. And the reason that I like his system and the way he's presenting it is because he's presenting it with, forget the numbers, forget your followers, forget the plus ones, forget the reshares. Let's just look at this singular post, and he's showing you the connections. He's showing you the people. He's replacing analytics with individuals, and it's not about you having 100,000 followers. It's about, look at this post and look at this dot right here. This dot right here is an individual. It's a person that is going to connect your content with other people. So you should focus on that person. It's very person-centered. And once I understood that, Nodex makes so much more sense to me. And it's like, it's not analytics anymore. It's people, it's individuals, it's about connections. And I really, I'm making the argument that if I can understand this stuff and I can appreciate this stuff as a mathphobic, which I swear to God is a word, I really think that anybody can, and I really do appreciate Lee taking the time to help those of us that are mathphobic understand that it's not about the numbers, it's really about the connections we make. His program just helps us see the most, who's going to be the most productive connections for us.
That was a great way to put it. Who's going to be the most productive connections for us? I love that. So was that it?
That's it.
All right. Well, that was Wade in the Water, folks. Didn't get to put the intro slide on there, but that's okay. It's not.
What is it? Oh.
It's not. It's not the good one anyway. It's the old style one. So I didn't get a chance to make the new one. But yeah, man. And I even said something to Lee earlier on the comment was that I want to bring him on the show. I want you and I to actually dig into it and like run an example of how to use it. It's deep, folks. I mean, what you can do, what you can understand with Lee's software is equivalent to what you can understand with Google Analytics, right? And Google Analytics, you look at that, you start with the dashboard, and then it's rabbit holes. Just I don't know, a billion of them or so. That's how complex Nodex is. The amazing thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but I assume that we are still anybody who is a Google Plus user has access to Nodex, right? This is still open for everybody, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Lee makes it free to any Google Plus user. And I mean, when you look at the complexity of this analytics program, I'm sure he can charge a bundle for this kind of stuff. But he makes it free to Google Plus because he likes the idea of us messing with it and us figuring out how it works. And he's so open to, he's like, if you get lost, message me, ping me, tell me what the problem is, and I will gladly sit down and walk you through it, because he wants it to be useful. It's not just there for like, well, if you want to do analytics and if you want to make the connections. No, it's really there so that everyone can use it and everyone can use it productively and use it so that you can find the people that are going to benefit you, but that you'll also benefit in return. So it's all about engagement. It's all about making connections. And that's why I love it so much. It's just very daunting the first, the first minute that you go in there and you enter your Google Plus profile, and it like takes all this time to get all your analytics, and you're like, oh my God, I can't do this. But Lee's recent blog posts have been so helpful, and they have pictures for those of you that like picture books.
Thank you, Alex. Yeah, if this software, go look at Lee's profile. He uses this software with big companies. Okay, this is not small potatoes here. This is a juggernaut enterprise level piece of software that he's given Google Plus users access to. All right, this is some pretty cool stuff. If you take the time to dig in, it could probably give you all the advantages you need in terms of growing influence and reaching out to the right people. All right, but it's big boy tools. I mean, Alex and I are just starting to understand, which is why this is part of Wade in the Water. We have not dove in completely with Lee yet because it's deep. It's big and deep. All right.
Scary.
That would be the software, not Lee. I just want to clarify.
No, and he has an adorable puppy. Her name is Lux, and she's awesome.
Yes.
So check out her pictures.
Before we move on to the jelly roll and my incredible graphic that I've put together for the jelly roll today, do we have anybody in the audience paying attention today, Alex? Or are we broadcasting to the ether?
Not that I've gotten comments from, but if you all are out there, if you want to comment on the event page, even if it's just like, hi, I'm cool with that.
That'd be great. Hi, everybody. We'd love to hear from you on this lovely hump day. All right. That said, we're moving into...
You can't say it like that. Yeah, hump day. It's gotta be like that.
Okay. Then please, you say it. I want that. I want that soundbite. Alex is going to say hump day correctly. I'm waiting.
Now I can't. Moving on.
Fine.
It's in there.
And now it's time for the jelly roll. Videos that make us so jelly. We're going to start with a really cool one. I don't know where this came from. This was Real SEO. That's right. This is so cool. So, Real SEO. Very, very cool bunch of guys. All right, hang on. This is going to look totally unprofessional. I'm tilting my camera up. There we go. How was that? Real SEO. These guys are posting all sorts of fantastic videos in Google+. They've been on YouTube for a while. These guys know how to crank out professional video, know a lot about video, everything, video. This is a really cool thing. This was pushed out by Dissolve, a company called Dissolve. They used all of their own stock elements. Right? What this is an example of how, I'm going to say how easy it is to put together something that looks and sounds really impressive, but really means absolutely nothing. And companies do this all the time. And so from a brand perspective, I would say pay attention to this when you're putting together your video, that you don't pack it with so much cliche and jargon that most people find it to be bullshit, all right, or find you to be fake. And I would say on the consumer side of thing, know that this goes on all the time, and this is called advertising and marketing. That's it. This is PR. This is what it is. What the reason I'm excited, and I'm gonna turn it over to you after this, Alex, and see what you have to say about it. But the reason I'm excited about this is because what you're seeing here is transparency, is the need for it. We're calling out the fact that we don't want to see prepackaged stock footage with beautiful people and the same stupid words we've seen all the time. My favorite part about this video, and we're gonna run the full thing. Okay, we're going to run 2 minutes and 30 seconds, the full thing with audio, so that you can all watch this video. It's got the guy who I believe does the Coors beer commercials. I grew up with this guy going, Coors beer, because men with big balls drink Coors beer. And that was it. That's what I grew up with. And you know, if you didn't drink Coors beer, you didn't have big balls, you weren't a man. The same kind of stuff is happening here. You're watching images. You'll hear it. You'll when the guy starts talking. It's just awesome. All right, I'm going to shut up now. Alex, do you have anything to add to that before we watch the video?
No, I loved it because it's so true, and I like that I'm seeing We saw this recently with a Cadillac commercial and then a Ford commercial parody of it. We're seeing like big companies call each other out on poor advertising, and I'm just loving it. It's fantastic. And I just this movie, it's well, this short clip, this short video, it's like it's both hilarious and true. And I mean, like, who could ask for more? That's all I'm gonna say. I'm also gonna say Annabelle Howard is out there. Hey, Annabelle. She says hello and hi, and yes, I am listening. You create a great podcast.
I know. Thank you, Annabelle, for reminding me that. We need to put together a podcast of this. All right, let's watch the video together, everybody. 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and then we'll all have fun.
We think first of vague words that are synonyms for progress and pair them with footage of a high-speed train. Science is doing lots of stuff that may or may not have anything to do with us. See how this guy in a lab coat holds up a beaker? That means we do research. Here's a picture of DNA. There are a shitload of people in the world, especially in India. See how we're part of the global economy? Look at those farmers in China. But we also do business in the USA, or want you to think we do. Check out this wind energy thing in Indiana, and this blue-collar guy with dirt on his face. Also, we care about the environment, loosely. Here's some powerful rushing water and people planting trees. Our policies could be related to these panoramic views of Costa Rica. In today's high-speed environment, stop-motion footage of a city at night with cars turning quickly makes you think about doing things efficiently and time passing. Lest you think we're a faceless entity, look at all these attractive people. Here's some of them talking and laughing, and close-ups of hands passing canned goods to each other in a setting that evokes community service. Equality, innovation, honesty, and advancement are all words we choose from a list. Our prophets are awe-inspiring, like this guy who's looking up and pointing at a skyscraper or a kite while smiling and explaining something to his child. Using a specific ratio of Asian people to black people to women to white men, we want to make sure we represent your needs and interests, or at least a version of your skin color in our ads. Did we put a baby in here? What about an ethnic old man whose wrinkled smile represents the happiness and wisdom of the poor? Yep.
John,
Yeah,
I
you
can't
can't hear
hear
me.
you.
So I just
No.
turned up my microphone. I had 3 things that I had to unclick to go back. I did 2 out of 3. All right. So let's start that over. That was a cool video. It still makes me chuckle just watching it. These are words that we choose from a list.
I like the signs when like what do they say something like we do important science or something like that.
It's yeah. I urge everyone to go to Real SEO's website, find this post, trace it down to the it's a Vimeo. This is actually a Vimeo video. So trace it back to Dissolve. Thank Real SEO for posting this. You all get it. You can see it. I mean, it's funny. If you step back just a bit from it, and I don't know if you got this, Alex, but at my age, with a lot of things that are ingrained, seriously, when they started showing the American flag and stuff, I'm like, oh, patriotism, yep, there it is, okay, they're an American company. I mean, it just hits you. It's so, it's such a part of me, having been raised and branded that way. Oh, you see an eagle and an American flag, and you know they're an American company, and it's all good, right? And It's such bullshit. I mean, they might be. Like he said, we might make our product in America. We might not. You're seeing a beaker. That might mean science or not. I mean, that's the beauty is, and I'm going to stop here so that Alex can run on it with communication. But we're asking for it to be honest. We don't want the spin anymore. We don't want the PR bullshit. If you really do make your product in America, then tell us and be honest. And if you're going to show the American flag, there better be a damn good reason for it, right? And then find out if your audience actually gives a shit if it's made in America or not. Anyway, Alex, in terms of transparency, honesty, and communication, which are kind of our standards, where does this video fall?
That's a really interesting question that I haven't actually really considered. I mean, obviously, I think that this company, Dissolve, is understanding that the new generation that has, you say that you're so used to this kind of stuff, you grew up with it. My generation, I think, and this is total opinion, because of the interactivity that we've gotten from social media, YouTube, that's what we've grown up with. We've grown up with a very interactive culture. We want these companies to respond to us. When we say something, we want a response back. And I think they're understanding that they can't do this generic branding anymore, because when we ask questions, they can't respond to it. I mean, if I see this and I send the company a tweet and I'm like, do you make your products in America? What are they going to say? It's much easier for them now to actually be authentic rather than do this kind of generic branding. I mean, it's going to cost them the same dime. It's just, are they willing to put their company out there in that kind of authentic way? And I think that my generation I think we started asking for it, and I think we're moving into this phase of we're demanding it. We want that authentic branding because we expect them to interact with us, and in that interactivity, we expect the person interacting with us to represent the brand as we saw it in that advertisement. So I think, I don't know if that answers your question, but Gail found the video that I was talking about brands calling other brands out, and it's fantastic. It's hilarious. I highly recommend watching it with Cadillac's egotistical. It's terrible. It's the worst advertisement I've ever seen. Gideon Rosenblatt shared it, and that's where I found it. And then Ford's response is just spot on. It's fantastic. So Gail posted that link. Thank you, Gail. And then she quoted, "We care about the environment loosely." Lol.
Yeah, loosely. Which was in there. I know. Those things are hilarious. We care about the environment over here, but we do these things over here that are completely incongruent with our care about the environment, right? That's what it is. It's the incongruency that we're hearing. I love the fact that brands are calling each other out. Maybe we'll make the big boxes force each other to be honest. We need to move on because I want to keep on time, but this is a deeper question because then it becomes, how are we even going to know, right? That's where the web comes in, right? Let's move in. I don't know how we ended up with so little time. It was flied by.
I know.
The last one we've got here, Alex, is the Betty White. Actually, we haven't even gotten through Betty. We got Betty White and the other one. I didn't even do the New Zealand video.
Yeah, which, I mean, they're basically the same thing. And this is less about authenticity and more about making things that were previously crappy fun.
Right. Right. Yes. And you are younger, so I'm just going to say, having flown for, a good portion of my life, starting in 1977, on a DC-9, maybe 75, DC-9. They still smoked on the plane. It's crazy. It was a prop plane. And I do remember that flight. Anyway, this stuff, everybody knows the stupid airline, you get on and nobody pays attention anymore and they talk about the seatbelt and all that and it's all boring and nobody really gives a shit. this is a fantastic way to make that interesting. Who is this, Alex? This is what airline?
This one is it's like an Australian.
New Zealand. Thank you. That's New Zealand.
Yeah.
And for me, for my generation, the people that are in this video, you've got Betty White, awesome, hilarious. Gavin McLeod, you remember him from The Love Boat, right?
And really the only reason I know what The Love Boat is because I saw him on a talk show
right
a month ago.
Right. Okay, so I grew up with The Love Boat, one of the cheesiest shows ever created on planet Earth. Gavin McLeod was the captain, Captain Stubing of The Love Boat. And so there he is in this video. I want to move past it quick just because I want to get into the other topic. But this is an example of the creativity you can get into video. There was one more video that we had in here, and it was the Virgin Airlines safety video, which I think you had listed, Alex, as the first one, or that we know of that, or that you had found in research that really had changed things up on the airline thing.
Right. And it's basically, they took I think it was actually a group that was on one of those singing show competition, whatever, and they made the safety video, and it's them literally like dancing around and singing the different safety features that that you're supposed to do, and part of it is rapping, and it's just like I wasn't even flying and I sat through the whole thing. And I have flown enough, being from Hawaii and being privileged enough to have parents that like to leave the islands at least once a year. Oh my God, it's such a difference. Yeah. I literally like those videos. Now they at least have people on videos talking to you, but they're still doing the same kind of talking that they did in person. So it was like, what's the point of putting it on TV? Like, I don't understand the difference. So it's really great to see that they actually care enough about their passengers to make it, they're like, you know what, let's make this a little bit more interesting. And if airlines can get it, good God, come on.
Yeah. Well, like, and airlines really are kind of like one of the first rounds of defense in terms of, or first people at the gate in terms of dealing directly with human beings, especially human beings in a situation that they're either excited or not excited, like, opposite ends of the scale, right? I don't want to be on this plane. I really want to be on this plane. The two things, right? So
yep.
to make it interesting, now we could go off on this in a whole another show, but just this concept of making it more interesting functions across all of your content for anyone. Right? If you're not getting engagement on your content, either nobody's seeing it or nobody's interested in it. So first, make sure you have viewers. If you don't, there's the problem. Second, make sure you're producing something people actually care about. Right? Alex and I are going to continue to do this show, but we require feedback to find out if anybody gives a shit about it. Right? Doesn't take a lot. One person, two people, it doesn't matter. And over the course of time, we look at analytics to see if people are watching it. The point I'm trying to make here really quick is you need to review your content to make sure it's actually being used and engaged on. And if it's boring, like most safety informations and presentations are on airplanes, nobody's going to pay attention. And we're all just going to die on the plane and not do what we need to do, put our heads down or whatever. Right? You're all going to die on the plane usually anyway, so... But I know. I
feel like we're like throwing up some serious terrorism flags right now.
Are we? Are we?
You're going to die on a plane. I feel like those are two words that we should not say in a sentence.
You're probably... No. You know what I'm saying. Yes, I should back up. No terrorism going on here. We're not talking about any planes. If NSA is listening, I apologize. Take a look at what you see on the screen, though, because the other piece of this that I want to mention really quickly is that video is brilliant. YouTube video is brilliant in taking people to where you want them to go. You can add what are called annotations. Very simple. What are they? In this screenshot that you see here, there's a couple annotations. One says you can win a free trip to somewhere and such. You can click on that link within the video. I can add links, and I'm supposed to be going back to our shows. I can add links to all these things and places if I went back and actually took the time to do it. So think about that from a piece of video. You put it up there, but then you can say, hey, click here now, go get this, go do this. You can you can get action from the people watching the video. Very brilliant. Good job with these guys at New Zealand Airlines. We are moving into something useful with my my low-tech something useful backdrop there. So you're going to have to give me 1 second. I'm going to, I've got to reach over and grab the actual object so I can show it in front of camera. I didn't bring it with me, Alex. I'll be 1 second.
Nice.
Now that wasn't noisy or anything, was it?
No, it was totally natural.
All right. We have this. I'll explain what that is in a second. We have this. All right. Switching back to me. Oh, funky. I wonder what that is. All right, we got something weird going on with the shots, Alex. This ought to be fun. Hi, everybody. This is a trash can. I got this from Lowe's. What we're talking about is content creation, ideation. Where do you get your ideas? Where do they come from? Being observant all the time and always thinking in a creative space. So the girlfriend and I do a lot of housework, a lot of yard work. We've got a fairly decent plot of land, and we do a lot of landscaping and yard stuff and gardening. And so we're always going to Lowe's. Lowe's is way too close for us. I think we spend more money at Lowe's than pretty much any other place. It used to be the computer store, now it's Lowe's. I have no idea why these shots are coming out so funky, but apparently my shots are looking really strange. Sorry guys, don't know what this one looks like. Anyway, we'll go back to this, Alex. So here's the story. We're walking through Lowe's, and I don't know, we're looking for a trash can, and I see, they've got the cheap ones, the plastic ones, and then we hit the fancy row, and I'm like, all right. And I see this thing. Now, I'm a nerd. Everybody knows that I'm a nerd. You all know that I watch Star Trek, and I also watch Doctor Who. So the first thing I see with this is that if you flip it over, it looks like the base of a Dalek. Right? These are arch enemies in Doctor Who, and if you can't see it, fine. This is what I saw. It's a bronzed one, and they don't make bronzed ones. So this would be a very small bronzed Dalek. That's what I saw with it. And I'm thinking to myself, great. I found a cool trash can that costs $20, and I want to buy it even though it's a $20 trash can just because it looks cool. What can I do with that? I want to do something more with it besides tell everybody I own a $20 trash can that looks like a Dalek. Right? Well, there's a blog post. So I could write a blog post about the fact that I went to Lowe's. I saw a trash can. It gave me the idea for a content piece, which is writing a piece about how to find ideas for content. Right? Hey, look, everywhere you go, there's things. Right? So here's an idea to be creative. Now, from there, I started expanding on it. What else can I do with this? What other meaning does it have besides, hey, you found something and it gave you an idea for a blog post? And I thought, well, this is Lowe's. And I thought this looked like a Dalek. So can we put the rest of it together? How do I involve Lowe's with that? This is where I'm going with it. How do I involve the place I'm at? How do I expand beyond just the object that I purchased? So I get home, and we've got this. And I realize that I've got one of these things. Now this is part of a $7 light kit that comes from Lowe's. So I stuck it on the top. And said, all right, there's my top. Right? And then I grabbed another thing in the office. This is just a Motorola headset. And I stuck it on top of this and said, okay, there's its eyes. Right? Now, this is all just a practice in creativity. The point being, I went from a $20 trash can to let's make it a scavenger hunt in Lowe's. Let's go to the Lowe's website. Let's find the items that we would select that would actually build this thing or make a silly mini dialect, bronze dialect. Let's create a scavenger hunt and make that an actual content campaign. So that takes the $20 trash can and moves it into something that could be fun, something Lowe's could do, or just the idea in general. Find something at a retailer, turn it into a scavenger hunt, build something. Make it a group activity. So we've gone from a $20 trash can to an entire content marketing concept that can be shifted for any business. That's going from ideation to creation, from wandering around in Lowe's on my own time. And that's what we're trying to talk about in terms of using your time wisely, coming up with content ideas, because they're all over the place. But don't just keep the small piece. Take the small piece and see how you use others, how you expand it to include others and grow. Because I could have stopped with a blog post about a cool trash can and why it was a content idea. Instead, I chose to involve the brand, and from there, it could go anywhere we want it to go. Alex, what's your 2 cents on that?
Well, I'll give it in my communication connection. Real quick, Gail asks, are there any tutorials out there on how to edit, annotate YouTube videos for us play with it impaired?
Yes, actually, and there was a that's a great question, Gail. There's I'm going to say some words that are probably not accurate, but YouTube Creation Academy, YouTube Spotlight. If you go to the YouTube Spotlight, Alex, there are tons of yes, that information is all there. There's a whole bunch of videos they've created on how to do that. Google and YouTube have been packing that I believe it's that channel, Google YouTube Spotlight, with all sorts of information. We will send that to you because it's part of the YouTube Academy or something like that. Yes, there are instructions. It's not hard. You just have to wait till your video's up there. Actually, if you look at a video on the front end, there's actually a section that says annotate. You just click on that in the video manager. You go through and start annotating. But Alex, that's a great thing. Maybe we could start doing little segments showing how to do that, little screencasts. You know.
Sure. Not that I know how to do any of it, but
I'm still learning.
Yes. I'll sit here and ask the stupid question.
Outstanding.
That'll be my job.
So we've got 2 minutes. You want to hit the communication connection in 2 minutes?
Yes, because it actually is exactly what you were just talking about.
All right. Well, let me run the cool graphic. And I hope that came out as good as it looked on this end. All right. Communication connection. And boom. There you go.
Okay. So, by the way, the video that is playing silently next to me is a PBS video. I believe it's on YouTube. There should also be a link to it on the event page. But the communication connection today is all about this idea of creation and creativity, because John just talked about it. And what I think is important is that, and it's mentioned in this video that's playing silently, is that creativity and creation, it revolves on communication. We need to communicate to have this this creative product that we end up with. Creation doesn't occur in a vacuum. It comes from so many different influences. You may have a new thought. It may be new to you, but where did that thought come from? Did it come from an idea from this person, an idea from this person, an idea from this person, and then you created something that incorporates all of them? Sure, it's a new thought, but it didn't happen in a vacuum. You had all of these different influences that gave you that thought. So I'm sorry, there's no such thing as an original idea. Get over it. I am really tired of seeing all of these people like, you stole my idea. You can have this, multiple people can have the same idea. You see it throughout history. It's just who's going to make money on it first. That's really what it is. So for those of you that are like, that's my idea, it was probably their idea too. So let it go. But back to the positive, we create through communication. The video, the PBS video, talks a lot about working in groups and bouncing ideas off of each other, because that's where the most creative ideas come from. When you have multiple perspectives creating this one item that so many people can incorporate their ideas, their thoughts, their different inputs, their different, their different backgrounds. Creation happens because of communication. And it's just so, the two are so intertwined, they're so interconnected that a lot of times we forget about it. So I'm just here to remind you that any sort of creation that you have, any sort of creative idea that you have, maybe you should think about who influenced that and thank them out of the blue. They'll be stoked.
Awesome. I love it. Very nice. Very nice. We could take that into a whole other realm regarding patents and creativity, right?
Yes, we could. Yes, we could. I have some probably not so great responses to patents, honestly.
I agree with you right there, and I will call out Apple and Google for being two of the bastards regarding patents. Apple primarily. That was fantastic, and it's always nice to hear you bring it all together with that good teachery stuff that I don't even bring to the table. So very, very nice. I wish your students would watch the show. You should offer them extra credit for doing so.
Yeah, I can't because of regimented, and because I don't want them, like, I've mentioned that I do shows and that I do stuff on YouTube, but I've never told them how to find me.
I see.
It's probably safer that way.
Well, everybody, we are going to wrap it up for today, somewhat on time, because we're trying to do that now. Remember that we've got Glass in the Class tomorrow at a ridiculously early time in the Pacific. It'd be 6 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard. Larry will actually start at 9:20. It's an odd time, but we can't program 9:20 into the Hangouts, so you're looking at 9 o'clock. And that's tomorrow. Friday, we will be at OTBC. That is the office hours show, but we're running it from OTBC. We're going to have a live audience. If you're interested in being a part of the Hangout audience, please let us know in the community. We'd like to have you there. It's going to be fun, open, interesting, a different way of doing a presentation. We'll be talking about a lot of the same stuff that most Google Plus family members already know about, but it's a good overview of where we've come from, the algorithms, the history of Google really fast, and where we sit today in 2014. What's the last piece? I think the last piece for us, Alex, is feedback. We demand your feedback. We can't make this show better. We can't make ourselves better if we don't know from you what we need to change, what you'd like us to do, what you'd prefer. All right, this is a viewer-driven show, whether we have one viewer or 1 million. So let us know what we need to do. Let us know what you'd like to see. Let us know what you'd like us to change. This show is for you. We do it for ourselves, then we wouldn't broadcast. I'm John. That's Alex. This is Office Hours. We'll see y'all tomorrow.